Kevin Stefanski today, and after the game as well, but again, asked if he was considering giving up play calling duties.
I think there's a bunch of different things, Mary Kay, that we want to look at and see how we're doing from a operations standpoint on offense. I think Ken's been an outstanding partner in all of this. So those are the type of things that I will always look at. But really, it just gets back to making sure that we're putting our guys in position is what we'll look at ultimately.
You're an offensive coach, so I think you're probably going to lean away from that. If you don't change something, how are things going to improve? And I'm not a guy that was like, Stefanski shouldn't call plays. Would it simplify it if it was Ken Dorsey calling the plays?
Well, it's funny you said that. You have. You're always been pretty honest. And you and I have backed Watson and backed Stefanski on just about everything they do because they've had a lot of success. I will say this, change, again, if you're having change, now you're the whole operation change and what you do on first and second down. So there's a lot more to it. I would say if I would like to see a change, I'd like to see Kevin go back to what he does. And, that gap scheme, these guys have run the gap scheme so they can get back to that a little bit. And they don't have to go back to it completely. But they have got to create a running game, whatever it may be. And right now, Dorsey's zone running game is not working. So I would like to see them go back. I'd like to see Kevin call plays. That's why he's the head coach. Some guys are head coaches because they're great CEOs. Kevin's a great play caller. Kevin's a great play designer. They're struggling right now. And track record said he's going to fix it. I would say stick with him as a play caller and go back to what you do because as a play caller, you know how to fix what you run. And that's all you know how to fix. So that would be my suggestion. Go back to what you do.
Can they do that? Is it a easy, a lot of the offensive line is the same. Can Andy Dickerson help them with that?
Well, you think about the pin and pull scheme, right? So you got pin and pull, you got the counter, you got power, you got all these. And the basic thing is on one side of the line, they're going to block down. On the other side of the line, they're going to pull some linemen across the line. And I think that just simplifies the thing. It gives linemen great angles. It allows them to reduce what they have to learn, reduce what they have to do. When you run zone, it's 2 for 2, and there's a lot of cognitive thinking going into it. These guys need to get physical. They need to get off the ball. They need to have simple rules. But, yeah, I think they could do that as opposed to going from gap to zone. You can go from zone to gap, especially at that level. But they have to get back to creating an identity. I've said it for weeks, and it's showing its head right now. They have to get back to physically running the football.
I would like to see them put extra linemen in. Are you against that? It worked against the Jaguars, and I know at some point in time, you got to move people. They are not moving defensive lines off the line of scrimmage, and that's bad for an offense no matter what you're running.
Well, the thing is, and it's funny because we all kind of have the same thoughts regardless of what level you are. But when you run angle, so if you look at like a high school and they have small offensive linemen, they like to use angle blocks and, run midline veer where you're leaving guys unblocked and you're trying to do different things. The Browns' mentality with those big offensive line is get off the ball and double team. Well, the double teams aren't working real right now. They're not getting a lot of vertical displacement. So I think down blocking and creating good angles for him and knowing who you block without having a 2 for 2 where we're going to chip off depending on where the linebacker goes. Just give these guys simple rules, have them get off the ball, and have them create an identity, have them create some pace, have them create some confidence. Right now, they're not moving anybody. Those guys are getting handled inside. Pass protection's an issue. Blitz is an issue. There are so many things that are going wrong right now. Running the ball can fix a lot of that just by simply slowing everybody down.
Is that kind of the baseline for how you think you fix it? Find a way to run the ball, and running the ball shortens the game. It gives your defense a little bit of rest. Those kind of things?
Well, it's funny. It's not the end-all, be-all, right? You can't just run the ball and everything's okay. But what it does is it gives you a lot of advantages, right? So if you can be successful with the run game, you can have good down and distance. You can have manageable second, third downs. You can prevent the defense from pinning their ears back and rushing the passer. Maybe get under center a little bit more so there's more run-pass option. Maybe eliminate some of the run-pass options and they're just automatic runs so those linemen know they're running the ball. There's a lot of things that can happen with running the ball. It creates confidence. It creates pace. It creates tempo. It gives a play caller confidence of what he can call run or pass. Right now, it's just such a reach because it's always a passing situation because they can get nothing out of the run game. They average, if you take away the 25-yard run and the 16-yard run, they're averaging about 3.4 a run. That's just not going to get it done at the NFL level. So I don't think it fixes it all, but it's definitely a start. Physicality is definitely a start for these guys.